Hi everybody, it's Lynn. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I have a little tutorial for us today that it's a little bit different than most things I've ever done, but I think it'll turn out cute. So we're going to give it a shot. But just to let you know what I'm using, I have some of the 8mm cherry quartz beads left. I have a, one of the drops left. I'm going to use that. I have oh gosh, what do you call these little things? Those, let me find the 6mm crystal faceted teardrop beads in Scarlet AB. So, and I pulled from my own stash a bunch of ball head pins. Now, I've already wrapped a bunch of these, but in case you're not familiar with how to do that, I'm going to show you how to do that with these remaining three. I've pulled out a couple of crimp beads, a couple of wire guardians, and a couple of crimp bead covers. I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out, so it's going to be kind of a little bit of a design on the fly with you guys today, but let's go ahead and get started. So I'm taking my round nose pliers. I have one of these little beads on a ball head pin. So I'm going to grab it right at the top of the bead, like so. Crimp it over to one side. And then I'm going to rotate my pliers up like that so that I can bring this over and around. And then I'm going to flip my pliers over and take it right onto the back. Okay? Then I'm going to take a pair of pliers and grab this loop, grab another pair of pliers and wrap this just around and around as neatly as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, there we have it. We'll snip that off here in just a second, but let's do another one. So pick it up. And what I did is I put the thicker part of the bead at the bottom, like so. Okay, so pick it up like that. Bend that wire 90 degrees. Rotate your pliers up. Bring it over and around. Rotate your pliers around and take it to the back. Okay, and then grab the loop with another pair of pliers and wrap like so. Just being as neat as you can. It's not gonna really show, but it'll all just look better if you do them pretty consistently. Okay, bend it, turn your pliers, come up and over, turn your pliers, take it to the back. Then wrap. Grab it at the loop, take another pair of pliers and just wrap that around that little stem there, doing your best to lay those wires down side by side. Okay, now we take our cutters and cut off the excess wire. And here you don't have to worry about squeezing that down because it's not going to be seen and nobody's going to get scratched by it, okay? So we're going to do that. And what I've done is I've divided the number of beads that I have into two piles here. Okay, and this is going to be our center bead. All right. I've also grabbed some of these little spacer beads out of my stash. I'm going to put them in between these beads here. Now, I'm using some gold beading wire, and I don't know how long this is going to be, so I'm going to work with it still on the spool because I want to have enough, but I don't want to waste it, you know. All right, so I'm going to start out with one of the 8mm beads, a spacer bead. Whoop, little suckers are slippery. And then just do these alternating those little spacer beads in between. And you know, you could do this with really with any beads you wanted to. I love the way these are going to look when we get them all stacked together. It's a little bit different. I've done this before and I really liked it. As a matter of fact, I did it in pink and teal to match a sweater that I had, and I wore it and wore it and wore it. I'd grab that piece every time I went to that sweater. Okay. One more. And I had two of the little rhinestone beads left, so I'm going to put one on each side of our necklace here. So there goes one. Ah, gosh, these are so sparkly, it's hard to find the hole sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to take this half of my already wrapped beads and I'm just going to string them on through that loop one after the other. Just put them on there. And in a second, you're going to see why you don't have to worry about tucking down any little tails. I mean, get them as close as you can because you know you want it to be neat, but there's no way it can scratch anybody when we get finished with this. And try to stay as consistent as you can with the size of your little loops. They'll stack better if they're consistent. Well, goodness. My loops are pretty small, y'all. I'm sorry I've been absent for so long. I had a life event happening that was very, very hard for me. My favorite aunt passed away, and I just probably took it a little hard, but um, I just missed being able to pick up the phone and call her. But not to be sad. I mean, you know, she had a wonderful life, and, you know, fortunately, it was kind of sudden, so it wasn't like she suffered for a long time. So I'm grateful for that. But, you know, just something we have to deal with in life. We're going to lose folks at some point, and it doesn't make it any easier knowing it's coming. But, you know, we get through it, don't we? Okay, I've almost got all of these on. Okay. And now I'm going to put the teardrop on. Just thread it right on there. And then I'm going to put the rest of the beads on, mirroring this side. But I won't make you sit here and watch me do that. But I'll be right back and show you how it turns out, okay? All right, I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I've got all the beads strung on. And when I measured this, I decided I needed about 5 inches of chain on each side. So I've gone ahead and put this one together, just went ahead and finished that off, and I'm going to show you what I did on this other side here. And I don't think I even mentioned this to begin with, but these beads came from the June bargain bead box. And if you're not familiar with that box, it's a monthly subscription. I'll leave a link to it down below. It is a wonderful value. You get sometimes even over $100 worth of retail beads for 25 bucks a month delivered to your door. So that's really hard to beat. And that's for U.S. residents. I'm not sure what it is for international, but you could always contact them, their customer service, and they could tell you what their policy is. But anyway, I wanted to show you what I was doing with all those little wrapped beads. See, I put that teardrop in the center there, and then I accented the ends with these, what I call them, disco balls, the little rounds that we had in the package. I had 2 left after I did another project. And then the little 4mm spacer beads are from my stash, but they did come from Bead Box Bargains. Also, with that subscription to Bargain Bead Box, you get a 30% off coupon to their sister store, Beadbox Bargains. And even though their prices are already amazing, you get to take another 30% off of that. So, all in all, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'll tell you, I love it. It's one of my favorites. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish up this other side. I'll show you what I did. Now, you want to make sure that you have these snug, not so tight that it wants to, not move, but snug, because you want them to do this. You want them to kind of stack. Look at all that sparkle. My goodness. Okay, first I'm going to put on a crimp bead. All right. And then I'm going to put on a wire guardian. And what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and add my chain right on there, like so. Okay, now when I'm doing a crimp with a wire guardian, I like to close that wire guardian as much as I can. It just makes it a little easier, and your crimping pliers are great for that because you can put it in one of the little grooves and close it without crushing it, you see. All right, and then I'm going to take our end of our beading wire and put it through that crimp bead and through a couple more beads, just making it as secure as we can. Okay, I'm going to try to get through another. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to pull this down so that it's snug. This is the biggest challenge of doing something like this, is getting that wire situated just the way we want it without doing any damage to anything. And see, I want to leave enough room to put that crimp bead cover because as you can see on this side, it looks like just another one of those little beads, but it hides your crimp. So that's the goal. All right, so to crimp it, I'm gonna put it in the groove in my crimp pliers, give it a good squeeze, turn it 90 degrees and give it another squeeze just to close that crimp down. Okay, now we'll take our cover. Well, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Just want to cut it off. Make sure you don't cut the wrong thing. That would be awful. Oh, it's a little loose. So be careful about that. Let me see if it's going to be too loose. It might tighten up when I put this crimp cover on it. Let's see. If not, I'll redo it, but I think it's going to be okay. Well, these little fellas just give me a hard time sometimes. They can be difficult, but they're worth it. Usually I can just lay it down on my mat and push it down onto it like that. That worked. Okay, now what I do to get a good closure on my crimp bead covers, I bought these little crimp pliers back when they first came out. You're supposed to be able to put a crimp bead in there and turn it into a round ball. I've never learned how to do that, y'all, but I have learned that because of that divot being round inside there, that this is awesome to use to get your crimp bead cover closed and it look nice, because you could just work with it and you could just about make that seam disappear. There we go. Somebody had to be looking pretty close to see that. Okay, and then I'll put the other side of our toggle on. Now, this is like a curb chain. It's oval shaped. So I pulled out a couple of oval shaped jump rings to put the clasp on because it almost looks seamless from our chain to adding our clasp. If you notice when I pull that out, you don't really notice that there's a crimp bead there. Or not a crimp bead, a jump ring. Just make sure those are closed really well. And here we have it, y'all. There's our little necklace. And I like adding this teardrop in here because I think it makes it very unique. It's I've seen these done similar to this, but you know, just adding a little something something right there gives you more of a focal point. Okay, so you can make this whatever length you want to, obviously. You can use any kind of beads that you want to, obviously. But I just wanted to show you another thing that can be done, especially when you have these little teardrop beads these are so subtle. You have to really look to even tell it's a teardrop. But by doing them this way, they really stack well together, and I think we got a real pretty project out of it. All right, so there's our necklace for today. I'm so happy that you joined me. I love having you guys here. It's such a treat for me, and I'll try to get back to, you know, putting up a couple of videos a week starting next week. That's my goal anyway. Now that it's July, oh my gosh, that's hard to believe, isn't it? I'll show you another little thing I have in mind. I'll show y'all how to do this on the next video. Okay? All right, you guys, have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would. I'd like to have you back, or you can go back and review other videos that I've posted. So you guys take care of yourselves, and remember, you are appreciated. Okay, I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.